I need your address.
You need my John Hancock? Are we signing deals, Dan?
That's your autograph. I need your
I know.
address. It's
No,
a
I thought
different
maybe
thing.
we were signing some good paperwork, selling the podcast, making some money.
What, you think I'm
No?
sending you legal forms?
I wish. I was hopeful for 1 second, and now you've ruined it.
I was sending you some sort of legal forms.
You were sending me over some contracts that were like, you're going to get 15% on the back end. And I was like, cool, let's do this. Do you want it right now? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I want your address.
Hey, watch him with Dan and Tony. Hey, watch him with Dan and Tony. It's like watching, yeah.
Welcome to Hate Watching with Dan and Tony. I'm Dan.
I'm Tony.
We watch the blockbusters so you can choose to not or watch the blockbusters. Not or watch.
This is one of those, to be honest with, this is one where I'm like, yeah, you could probably watch it.
Yeah.
As long as you don't play the video games, so you're not a fan of the video games, you could probably watch it.
Tell them about the movie, Tony.
So this movie is one that has been in the making for, I don't know, 20 years. I swear to God,
really?
20 years ago was the first. I don't even know if the game came out 20 years ago, but since the first game came out, they've been talking about, well, we need to adapt this into a movie because the games are cinematic, which we'll get to very soon. But this is, of course, Uncharted, starring Tom Holland and Marky Mark, just in the worst casting decisions of all time. But I'm excited to hear your thoughts on that, actually.
Yeah, so it's based on a video game, and you'd already told me that the main character is supposed to be more of an adult.
I mean, let's put it this way. Since it came out, people have been like, you know who needs to play this? Nathan Fillion. Nathan Fillion is Nathan Drake to a fucking T.
That'd be so good.
We'll talk about this more later, but there's a short film that I should have made you watch, a fan film, where Nathan Fillion plays Nathan Drake, and it's so much better than this movie that it breaks my heart. Like, this fan film, first of all, get that guy to direct this movie, because this piece of shit was directed by a child that doesn't know how to do anything. But anyhow, so he should be 30s. Like, that's the character, mid to late 30s, which is not this, obviously.
No. He plays very youthful. Tom Holland, very youthful. You know, he's going to be 90 years old and still look like a baby.
He'll be able to play high school till he's 45 years old. Okay, it's ridiculous.
They buffed him up, and their choice. I watched a little bit of the video game online on YouTube.
Oh, nice.
And I watched this scene where they were like breaking into this temple, and the main character breaks 5 guys' necks, and then he shoots to death a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
And this was after I watched the movie, and I'm like, in the movie, he maybe parkours out of the way so people die. And
yeah, a bunch.
This movie should have been like Tomb Raider, should have been like a hard PG-13 verging on an R.
Yeah.
Should have been an adventure movie, you know, like a real hard adventure movie.
Yeah, I feel like they wanted to make Indiana Jones, which will come up a bunch of times today. But what they ended up making was like a poor imitation of National Treasure.
That is, you immediately watch this movie and you just keep thinking. And I meant to go and watch like the first half an hour of National Treasure, because I remember really enjoying the first one, and the second one I liked, but wasn't as good. It was a little goofier, but.
And I'm excited for it. I think there's a Disney Plus series coming that's going to be National Treasure. Yeah. So I'm excited for that, even though I don't think Nick is in it, but it's fine.
And so the thing I'm going to say is all they do in this movie is look for keyholes.
In cities. Here's the thing about the games, Dan. They are like this it's all about big set pieces, which is why everyone's like, this will make a great movie, because it's all about giant, beautiful set pieces in exotic locations. This is just, hey, we're in a town. We're in a town looking for holes in walls that are like just in plain sight. What? What are you talking about?
They, and we talked about it. What was it? We watched you and I both had started at least the Oh, the Angels and Sinners guy that wrote those books.
Dan Brown.
Dan Brown. We started that Dan Brown thing, which had all these very complex puzzles, which were complex to the point of being ununderstandable by anyone.
To the point where you're not watching it and figuring it out. You're just kind of like, what's happening? What's going on?
I'm splashing water on this magic sign and then eating away at the thing. And then I reach through and then the whole room is collapsing and I have to do that. You're just like, what's going on? This is a trap that can only happen one time and you're triggering it and he left that as a clue because he wanted you.
Are you sure?
And National Treasure, I think, was like the right, I got to get these glasses to make the lens, to burn the hole in the wood, and then the thing appears. This is like keyholes.
It feels thought out. National Treasure feels like somebody planned out actual clues and what they do and why they're there and what they mean. And this movie's just like, I don't know. I don't want to take the time to figure out a real mystery. So let's just put holes everywhere with keys. Same 2 keys, 90 different holes.
And the other thing this movie does is it excludes its major characters from scenes as much as possible.
100%. I mean, I would say there's like 3 main characters, right? But then one of them isn't even involved in the 3rd act. We just send her away and she never comes back. I thought for sure she was going to come back and like help save the day. Nope. She just shows back up at the end. She's like, you jerks. You got me.
I mean, I will say that I wrote one line for the entire end of the movie.
Oh.
And that because I kind of was not paying attention and,
Sure. Yes, you do.
And then I looked up and the other woman is like, she's on the boat, she roars by in a boat. And I was like, oh yeah. Why didn't she play any part in anything?
I remember her.
And you kind of were like, I didn't miss her because none of the characters are that
interesting. They don't do anything.
None of them has a specialized skill or necessity for being there at the time.
Well, I mean, how would you describe Tom Holland's character?
Parkour Jr.
Parkour and a thief, right? How would you describe her character? Just kind of a thief. And how would you describe Mark Wahlberg? Just kind of a thief. None of them have anything that bring anything new to the table. They're all just kind of like, yeah, we're kind of thieves, kind of not.
And then I think in the video games, Mark Wahlberg's character and Tom Holland's character start as like maybe not best friends, but they start as partners, right?
They start as very good. So basically, just in a nutshell, because I don't want to ruin all the games for you. If you guys want to play them, they're fucking great. So go do that. Way better than this movie. They meet when Nathan is 15. And Nathan is like a thief, and he's very good, and he's already into treasure hunting. Like that's his thing. He's like, I'm going to do that. And then he pickpockets Sully, and then Sully doesn't get mad. He's like, hey, you're pretty good at that. Like we should work together. He becomes like a surrogate father, and by the time the games start, he's like 31. Sully's in his like 60s, and they're best friends. And Sully would die for Nathan. He would die for Nathan. In this movie, they don't even like each other.
And don't really spend any time together and don't have any emotional moments and don't really even have a relationship.
No, sure don't.
And then at the end when we have the turn where it's like, I'd give my life for you. So I think there is that turn. I couldn't.
He
like
gives
I said,
up his
I wasn't paying
gold
attention.
for him. Not his life, but his gold.
Which is the same thing for criminal treasure.
Yeah.
You're like, it is completely unearned.
100%. Just 1,000,000%. Yeah. It's
I mean, I have to tell you, and they do like a whole thing where Tom Holland's brother died or maybe was killed or something.
Maybe, yeah, he disappeared.
I couldn't tell you who they put the responsibility on. They kind of said it was Sully's responsibility at one point, and then maybe it was
and then it switched over to Joe Babadook. What's her name?
Yeah, Joe.
Whatever her name is. Yeah.
So, that's you have to have a whole thing where Tom Holland's character through the whole movie thinks that Sully made his brother die or had his brother die or was complicit in his brother dying, but he needs to. He needs him for that's the whole thing is Tom Holland's character doesn't need anything. He doesn't have a want in this movie.
No, not really. The motivations are quite unclear.
Yeah,
Except for Mark Wahlberg's, who's just like, "No, I want gold.
I want gold.
want
I want
gold."
gold. Yeah, so that without like this really solid want and thing that causes these two to keep working together. I mean, they dance around it a couple times. There's one point at which Tom Holland quits and says, "I'm not going to do it," and then in the next scene he's like, "Okay, I guess I'll do it."
Right, like, it's fine. Never mind. You know what? I was being childish. I'm back in.
Anything else you want to say before we
Well,
delve
I would
into
love to hear just in general. I think the idea of this podcast for me is going to be like, you as someone who hasn't played the games, I want to hear how the movie lands for you, as opposed to how it landed to me, which is not good. But before, I just want to hear your thoughts on Nathan and Sully as characters, not based on what you think of what they're supposed to be, and you know what I mean. I just want to hear how you felt that they were as characters. Do you think it worked outside of the video game?
I think as characters, you could have made this work. I felt as a movie, I sat through it and I was like, okay, it never made me angry. This movie never made me angry. It was more just like, oh, I wish they'd have done this better. I wish they'd have done this better. I wish they'd have done that better. It's just, it felt like a movie that with more work on the script and a better script doctor, it could have been cleaned up. And of course, the action scenes all needed tons of help, of course.
So again, how does this guy keep getting work, Dan? Can you explain Hollywood to me?
Who are we talking about?
The guy that directed this film, I'm pretty sure it's the same guy that did Venom, which also sucked. So how does this guy keep getting work of these big tentpole films?
I'm going to answer that question.
Thank you.
I can't answer that question. This movie looked pretty good. The trailer looked pretty good. It had real stars. It didn't cast anybody in a bad light. And I think that's what they look for, because this movie did good. It ported right over to China, and I'm sure it did really good in China. And that's what they want. They want a movie that's not offensive, that works. That's not to say.
I'll tell you that I am offended by this movie, but I understand what you're saying.
But I mean, if you hadn't played all the video games religiously, you wouldn't have noticed that it's lacking because of that. I think
that's what I'm asking. Yeah. Okay. So that's interesting.
Yeah. If they'd have kept the things that make it work in the video game in this movie, of course it would have been a better movie. As we always see with everything, it's like the tweaks they make where it's like, oh, this is going to be the first time they meet, and then they're going to have to come to terms with each other. Well,
I don't give a shit.
Then make that movie. Or more importantly, just make it a movie where it's the two of them working together and they get this clue that sends them on this thing. And then, maybe at some point, a third of the way through the movie, Sully has to admit that he was part of the brother's death or, what bad happened to the brother. And then that breaks apart what looked like this really strong friendship. And then they come back. Tony and I do some writing, and I'm sorry, but some of these things just seem so simple to write.
They seem so obvious.
They seem so obvious. Yeah. It's like if you're writing Spider-Man, you write Spider-Man. Did
you watch Spider-Man, Dan?
No. How would I watch that? Oh, did you have it on Voodoo?
It's on my Voodoos.
Oh, no.
You were supposed to watch it so we could talk about it, but we'll save it. We'll put a pin in it.
I didn't watch that. It's like pretty long.
It is. You're right about that.
So, as the casual non-video game understanding viewer, I thought it was a fine movie.
Okay.
I would never watch it again. I didn't take anything
First of all, that's
it.
a problem, Dan, because this is supposed to be a swashbuckling adventure that you want to watch over and over because it's so fun.
No, that will never happen.
How many times have you watched Indiana Jones? And I honestly don't know your thoughts on Indiana Jones. I don't think.
In the first one?
Yeah, that's Raiders, right?
Oh, I rode my bicycle to the movie theater to see a sneak preview of that movie, and I sat in there and my brain exploded. It was, I can't say there's a lot of movie-going experiences that were like that. It's, it's basically Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Close Encounters. That's probably the three movies that you're like, holy, what the heck's going on here?
But you
You know,
watch it over and over because I mean, you know
oh,
what happens, but it's so fun, you know?
Indiana Jones, perfect movie, still a perfect movie. You know, like Die Hard. There's a bunch of
Oh yeah.
movies out there that are perfect movies,
National
and
Treasure. Great movie. I watched that movie a bunch of times.
I don't know if that's a perfect movie, but it's a
I don't
fun
know. I don't
movie.
know if it's perfect either, but it's so fun that I've watched it several times. If it's on TV, I'm not going to flip away. If this movie's on TV, Dan, I'm flipping away. I'll be like,
Flip away.
I remember that movie. Let's move on. That's
You
not
know,
good. That's
Con
not okay.
Air comes on the television.
Oh
I'm
my
sitting
God.
there through scene after scene. Con Air, bad
So good.
movie, but a great movie.
Wow.
It is a bad movie.
It's
I
a
mean,
great movie.
there's a lot of terrible things in it, but that's the fun of it. And a movie like this, that it's so blandified that
Yeah.
there's nothing that either moves it to the heights or moves it to the glorious trash level.
Yeah. Just blah. Just in the movie. The games are. Here's my problem. Here's my biggest problem. Other than
What's
the
your biggest problem,
casting,
Tom?
which is a huge problem, and the characterizations, which is a huge problem, because they're so different. Which I'm sure we'll talk about at some point. My biggest problem is the games are so cinematic. Like
Yeah.
they're like watching a 12 to 14 hour movie, and they're amazing. But it's weird. It's okay. So here's why it's weird, right? The game's basically loosely based off of Indiana Jones. Like that's the idea.
Sure.
You're like, someone watched Indiana Jones, like, I want to play a video game of Indiana Jones. And then they're like, you know what? Let's make a movie of the video game based off of a movie. But then it's worse than both of them. How is that possible? How do you screw up? You got a great source material, and then you make another movie and you just miss the mark. You just make it terrible. I don't get it. I don't understand it.
Have you seen that last Indiana Jones movie?
Have we not thought about this before?
Oh, you like that movie?
I don't like it. I don't mind it. Everyone hates Crystal Skull. I'm just like, it feels a lot like the other ones to me. I don't know.
Except that they've in a sense video gamed it so bad. That part where they're driving along the cliff edge and then the monkeys
In
are
the
swinging
jungle?
through the vines and a car that's going 60 miles an hour is caught up by a person swinging on
Shia LaBeouf swinging through the vines. Yeah, I mean it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, sure, but it's not. I don't know.
It's not good. It's not like the first one that felt very grounded.
100%. I agree with that. But I don't think it's the travesty that people seem to think it is. I don't know.
Well, and you don't mind when a movie starts grounded and then goes into video game territory.
The
That doesn't
bonkers,
bother you. Yeah.
But this game doesn't even do that. Or this movie. That's how weird it is. This movie doesn't cross into ridiculous video game territory, but it is a ridiculous video game. It doesn't make any sense to me, Dan.
Well, they in a sense they try to play it straight,
which is a huge mistake, I think.
And so there's not, we like things that are heightened, and this movie there's no point at which it feels heightened. It either feels like, oh yeah, like he's going to be able to walk off with that cross from the auction house. That's going to happen just by him having a jacket, that he found in the trash or whatever.
He's got a red jacket. Everybody back up, red jacket. Oh boy. All right, I'm sorry. Let's do the movie. I've been droning on. Here we go. Uncharted.
So we start out there. We start out an adventure. Plane is flying. There's stuff hanging out the back, and then Tom Holland's hooked by his foot. And then basically he has to go jump, and get into the plane. And then there's bad guys. Then he gets there, and then he almost gets run over by a car. Wait, did they show the car? That's the last thing we see is the car, right?
Yeah, the car hits him, and then he falls out, and then we cut back. I already got problems. I've already got problems, Dan.
This was like, I was like, they've shown us too much of this.
Yes.
But there were some general visual things that I really liked in this scene.
And do you know why?
Because they're stolen exactly from the game. I understand.
100%. This scene is literally lifted from the second best scene in the movie is lifted straight from the video game, which is okay, but they don't do anything better than the video game. That's what boggles my mind. It's like the video game's almost better. It's so weird to me. I don't know. I know, but I mean, it's a fun way to open the movie. But you already showed it in the trailer, and it's straight from the game. So I was like, this is nothing new to me. I don't know. I don't know.
They did. There was a certain amount of him being in jeopardy, which I felt in this. That
in this one scene only.
In this one scene only.
Yeah, where they open the movie with it.
Where you really see that water down there, and you really see the height, and you really feel the plane slowly going down. There were just some nice, really subtle things like that I remember in X-Men 2 was similar things where you felt like these characters were in jeopardy.
Yeah.
And that was X-Men 2 is one of the best superhero movies I think of all time.
Oh yeah. 2 thumbs way up.
You really feel that. And I felt some of that in this, and I was like, okay, I like this.
But then it's gone.
It's in none of the rest of the movie, sadly.
Yeah. Come on, guys.
So we cut back to him as a kid 15 years earlier. Him and his brother are robbing a museum to steal a map because the kid wants to sell the map or look at the map or do something to the map.
Maybe just look at it. I don't know. This is already problem number 2. Problem number 2, Dan. When it goes from Tom Holland, and then it says 15 years ago, what age did you expect the child to be?
Like 9.
Really? Okay, that's it. When it said 15 years ago, I was like, oh, Tom Holland's a baby. He's a literal child. He's a toddler right now. And then this kid that looks the exact same age as Tom Holland comes on the screen. I was like, wait, what's happening? They look like they could just be friends that go to school together. They look identical to me. And I'm just like, this doesn't make any sense. 15 years? Fuck you. No way.
So the map has something to do with them trying to find their mom and dad. They sort of pitched that out there, and I'm like, this is going to be about them looking for their mom and dad. But we never really
deal with it, so it was a weird idea to just throw that in there. In the games, just real quickly, his mom was like an archaeologist, and so they kind of get their adventure sense from her, and she did disappear. Whatever, but we just don't deal with it. I don't know why it's here.
You can't be floating that we're looking for her mom and her dad.
When we don't look for the mom and dad.
We're not looking for the mom and dad because, that's a major thing to float. And just the idea that these 2 idiot kids can break into this museum.
Does it get better for you? Because I find the beginning just as implausible as everything else Tom Holland does in the movie. I don't know, man. I'll tell you right now that I think I'm very hung up on Tom Holland. I like him a lot as Spider-Man. I think he's great. I don't buy anything that he does in this movie because I'm like, he's a child. A child couldn't do that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying. I found this part the most implausible of everything in this movie.
I'm okay with. I'm not saying I bought this. It just doesn't get a lot better than me. And it doesn't help that they continually make jokes about how young he looks. Like Mark Wahlberg's half of his jokes are about you're a child. Wait till puberty hits, and I'm like, yes, wait till puberty hits, and then give him a movie because this is ridiculous. Maybe if his voice changes, I'll believe that he's a man. I don't know. Oh boy, I'm sorry, Tom. Tom, I love you. You're a very sweet guy.
Maybe they should give him a different haircut. Maybe that would have helped.
Maybe. I don't know. Let him grow some facial hair, maybe some stubble like a 26-year-old might have. I don't know.
They get caught. They get taken back to the orphanage. He's told it's his 3rd strike, so they're going to take him to jail, I guess.
Yeah, something. He's in trouble. That's all I know. He's in trouble.
So he gives the magic ring to Tom Holland, a ring that plays no importance in the movie.
Other than he has it a lot.
So once again, you're setting up this, here's the major clue, this magic ring that's going to do some magic ring stuff. It's for the second movie we're going to deal with the ring.
That's right. We'll get there. Don't worry, guys. We'll get there. Yeah, ridiculous.
And then he says, we will reunite. I'll be back. And then he jumps out the window. I wrote, these kids are very effective.
Wait, are they?
I mean, they're breaking into museums. This kid just goes back and he just jumps out the window and is going to make his way in the world. They're very effective kids.
Why doesn't he bring his brother, Dan?
No clue.
I'm just gonna, we won't spend a lot of time on this, but number one, if you are in foster care and you have a true sibling, you don't split up. You don't.
I would think not.
You're all you have. The only thing you have in your world is your sibling at that point. Like you wouldn't split up. I'm sorry, you wouldn't. Number two, it doesn't really seem like foster care's that great there. Like they're clearly not that happy. They're you're doing crimes. Just bring your brother, escape together. It doesn't make any sense to me why you would leave him if you think you're going to go make your way in the world. Bring him with you.
I really wish they'd have made them just like be criminals or something, make them effective as opposed, it's like you're setting them up as like these master treasure hunters at age 9. And it just, that felt like an absurdity. And like, they're in the orphanage and their mom and dad were archaeologists. And it's just like, it's just such a weird setup.
Sure. Yeah. It's a lot.
I didn't feel it. So we do the secret lemon writing just so we know that at some point he's going to do that to the postcards.
Also, it's not like that's the first time we've ever seen that in a movie. I feel like we hit it pretty hard for something that's pretty common. Like it happens a lot, guys. We get it. Yeah, you put the heat and it's invisible ink. Yeah, we get it. You don't need to hit it super hard.
Well, especially since these kids, they're making it seem like they're always looking for this. So if there's really a code in the messaging, he'd have figured out the code. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Okay, so we cut Back to the Future, back to normal time.
Now there's a good movie.
Good movie. He's in New York City. He's late for work for no real reason.
No, because we don't know. It doesn't define him characteristically. It's not like, oh, he's always late and he's just a loose cannon. No, he's just late. He's just a guy who's just late to work.
Like, you're late and I'm going to fire you not tonight, but someday maybe.
But sometime soon, maybe you better watch out. And he's just like, oh, okay, sorry.
He's the master bartender doing the bartender tricks. And you're just like, oh,
we have to talk about this. So how did you feel about it?
I hated it. It made me hate him.
Why? I'm curious.
Because he's a prick bartender. You're like, this is, if I saw this guy, I'd just be like, oh, what a fucking asshole. What a piece of shit.
Have you ever seen Cocktail with Tom Cruise?
Yes.
Did you feel that way about Tom Cruise?
Yeah, I've always felt that way about Tom Cruise.
Oh, that's true. You're right. You don't like Tom. I keep forgetting.
No, fucking prick. It's you
got weird problems with Tom. Okay, Tom's great.
Okay, that's fine. It's the same thing. Like that's why I never saw that movie. I'm like, no, I'm not going to like this asshole.
I wish you would have seen the movie
asshole.
Just so you could compare what someone looks like when they know how to bottle toss and what someone looks like when Tom Holland tries to bottle toss, which looks like a child playing with something he doesn't understand. He's not smooth. He's rigid, and it's like slow, and it just the whole time I'm thinking like this kid doesn't know how to do this. Nobody took the time to teach him how to do it. If he's going to do it in the movie, he should learn how to do it. But he's never had a drink in his life because he doesn't have he's not 21. He can't do it. So.
See, I totally thought they must have trained him for a long time because it looks like he's doing it okay.
I thought he was doing terrible. You should see. We should do a side-by-side comparison of Tom Cruise slinging bottles like a fucking champ, and then this kid just being like, I don't know what this bottle is.
So,
anyhow.
Like the world's hottest girl, is that girl somebody real? I thought she was going to be part of the movie.
I have no idea. I feel like when I saw her, I was like, but I don't know. It never came to me.
So smoking hot girl, he sort of flirts with her, sort of weird, and then he goes and steals her bracelet. Like this is a serious diamond bracelet.
Yeah, that's how good he is.
Serious. But like if stuff was constantly disappearing at the bar you work at, and why is he stealing that?
Well, because he's a thief, Dan. Okay.
Well, if he's a thief, he's got to be thieving for a reason. You got to give him a reason.
Not only that, but your first point I actually feel is stronger, which is you don't thieve where you work.
No,
you just don't. You just don't do that.
And more importantly,
that's like rule number 1 is you don't do it where you live or work because that's how you get caught. 100%.
It's how you get in huge amounts of trouble. And more importantly, he's not thieving for a reason. If he said, "Oh, I got to steal this bracelet," if he was late because he was meeting his guy that had the secret treasure map that was going to do this, and he's got to get that guy money.
Sure.
Or
if it was like a historical bracelet of even if it has nothing to do with the story, but it was something like, oh, this is an artifact. I need this. I don't know. You don't like it?
No, I think that's a terrible premise. I'd have shot that down in the writer's room because this is just a stupid, and he also he's hitting on her, but he also demeans her for being rich. I mean, it's really weird.
Yeah.
Make her a bitch, and then there's a reason why he's stealing her money. But she's not. She's very sweet, and she says he's cute, and she's not horrible, and he's stealing her money, what, for no reason.
Now imagine if that was some sort of historical artifact, and then there's a reason.
No.
Nailed it.
You got to give him a reason. Yeah, okay. I mean, sure. If she's he follows her home from the Met, and she's has this thing, and he needs it for a reason. Give him a reason.
She's the descendant of somebody that's going to connect it to the map, Dan. Okay.
There you go. She's Antonio Banderas' stepdaughter, and that's why he's steals. Okay.
Antonio Banderas.
Oh, we're going to talk about that.
Yes, we are.
So there's got to be a reason why he's stealing it. There's no reason why he's stealing it.
No, right now he's just kind of a dick. He's just a dick.
Actually, I'm going to say it. The reason he's stealing it is so that they can show us that he can steal it, and that it can then get immediately stolen back by Sully. Sully then lifts it out of his pocket and puts his card in there and says to this guy, this cheap hood that's stealing off a random girl, I want to work with you. What?
Yep.
That is not how you choose your partners essentially for the rest of his life off of that amount of information. I would not do that ever in a million years.
I would not do that.
Why would you trust that kid for 1 second? He's garbage.
Whoa. I mean, I agree with you. He is garbage. But he's garbage through the whole movie, and he still wants to team up with him. So, there you go. Clearly, Marky Mark just loves garbage kids.
But did Marky Mark know?
Kids.
That's the point. We're going to do that movie. I'm sending you the DVD of that movie, by the way.
Yes.
That's why I'm sending you a package.
So good. I'm so excited.
Did Marky Mark know that he was his brother at that point?
Yes. Yeah. He sought him out because he's the brother. That's what I was led to believe.
It doesn't. Okay.
Well, which, by the way, Sam and Sully don't know each other in the video games. They don't. Not until later when Sam's an adult and comes back, and then they kind of clash over Nathan. It's great. It's really good stuff.
So, of course, he's decides that he wants to be partners with him, so he steals keys from the dude that works at the door, and then he goes in there, and then they verbally spar. Spar.
Your sparring is too exciting for what happened. There's too much spar. It was more like, spar.
Why are you here? Well, my bracelet back. It's in the desk. I'm taking this. Oh, is this map real? Yeah, that's real. That's the map you tried to steal when you were a kid. What a weird quick
turn that is when he's just like, this map almost looks real. It's like, it is real. What? Oh my God, guys. What the fuck is happening?
And it's the same map they tried to steal when they were kids, right?
I can't tell the difference between old maps that look very similar, but it seems like, it's the same map.
Why?
My question, did he always have the map? Who did he just don't lend it to the museum? I don't know.
We don't know. National Treasure, the Constitution. We get
I know where it is.
We know where it is. We know what it is. The president's desk. We understand the president's desk is going to be in a certain room.
These are real, tangible things that I can put my history to.
So then he goes home, and he looks at these postcards, and he gets his magic ring, and then
his magic. What is this? The one ring to rule them all?
That's when he put the magic ring back on, right?
Yeah, because now he's back to loving his brother or something.
So the whole idea is Sully needs him to steal this cross from this auction. He needs a partner to steal this cross. And so
he kind of didn't.
No, not at all.
If you think about it, his plan didn't actually need a second person.
Not really.
But it's cool.
So, and then we do a nice argument about who gets how much of the money.
But do we? Because they don't actually resolve it. Did you notice that? Basically, he's like, I'm going to give you 10%. And he's like, I want 50. And they're like, no. And he's like, all right, see you later. No,
I'm
as
happy.
Far as I can tell, nobody knows how much each person is getting yet. And it's going to be a problem.
So then they train and plan to a terrible song. Montage with a terrible song.
I don't even remember. Is it a real song, like with words, or is it just kind of music? I don't remember.
Words.
Interesting.
So we're getting ready for the night. Tom Holland's character cannot tie a tie.
Because again, we continually treat him like a child.
Hold on a second.
Yeah. Okay.
This guy works in swanky like an bars.
Upscale bar. An upscale New York City bar. He wears a tie. He wears
Tony,
a tie.
If you work at a bar and you learn how to fling bottles, you've been doing catering. You've catered weddings your entire life.
No, he wears a little black tie all the fucking time, Dan. I promise
it is
you.
Literally the most absurd thing in this entire movie. Like, what is that showing us?
I told you, it's showing you that he's a child and he needs his daddy to tie his tie because he doesn't know how to be a man.
So then,
I'm Tom Holland. I don't know how to tie a tie. That's my Tom Holland impression.
Another really weird. There's some really weird things in this movie. So as a prank, he makes Sully get a cat.
Oh my God!
Talk about.
This is animal cruelty, first of all.
Tricking someone into getting a pet.
This guy doesn't want a cat. As far as I know, he's never had a cat.
Is the cat in the video?
Give him the cat.
Is the cat in the video games?
I don't believe so. I mean, it could. It's not something that I remember. I'm not saying it's not there. I'm saying that it doesn't play a significant enough role that it deserves a nod in this piece of shit movie. But this guy just forced a guy to get a cat, and then they leave on an adventure. The cat's dead. I mean, they make a joke about it. It's like, you think the guy from the app came? And I don't think he came. I think the cat's dead.
More importantly, you have like golden crosses, and you have like $1 million maps, and you have like, what was it? A jade dragon on your desk.
Yeah.
Do you think you can't afford to board your cat?
That's a good point.
And it's like,
I didn't even think about that.
If you're really going to make this thing a thing, have him board the cat, have him like FaceTime with the cat at the boarding. There's like a million jokes that you can write around this thing that this movie like doesn't understand.
This movie doesn't understand much, Dan.
So let's go. They meet Joe Braddock, who's the Antonio Banderas's woman, and then she's got like a guy that doesn't speak, and then she's got a big Irish or British guy
that speaks, but you can't understand him. So you got two people that don't speak.
And I wrote down, I want gold. So that's everybody in the movie. All they care about is wanting gold.
Yeah. Part of what makes the games fun is that it's not just about the gold to them. It's about the adventure. Like they're basically adrenaline junkies. You know what I mean? Like what they love is going on the adventure and doing these things. The end result is kind of like, hey, did we get the gold? Did we not get the gold? Like, I don't know, but how much fun did we have almost dying a bunch of times? All these people want is just gold.
I want gold.
That's it. All of them just want gold. It's not even like a reason. It's not like, I need the gold to do something. They're just like, yeah, gold's cool. I want gold. Let's get it.
Antonio Banderas' character is part of the richest family in the world and has everything. And the only thing he cares about is, I want gold.
Well, but it's his gold. He's the only one that like has, in my mind, the tiniest bit of motivations that makes sense. Because it's like his family's gold, he's saying, and then it got lost. He's like, it's rightfully mine. Okay, I'll buy that. Why does everyone else want it? Just gold.
That family is worth more than the gold.
Yeah, 100%. But at least it's like a pride thing with him. So it's like he wants the gold, but not because it makes him rich. He wants the gold because it's his. That's at least the tiniest, and I'm giving a lot of leeway right now, Dan.
I know what you're
But it's
saying.
the tiniest bit of motivation that I understand. But we don't care because we kill him in like 10 minutes.
Shh, spoilers. But when everybody's motivation literally is just, I want gold.
Just gold.
His is like a little more rationalized and a little more, you know, there's layers
Which is
to his
why we have to get rid of him.
I want gold.
It almost makes too much sense that they're like, we got to get rid of that storyline.
So basically, there's this gold cross, which is going to be the key that they need to get. Tom Holland's supposed to do something or cause a reaction or cause people to do something, and then he eventually does that, and then what's his name puts on a jacket and walks out the back door with the
and then suddenly nobody recognizes him except for Joe, and she's the only one that follows him, which is just crazy.
And then she follows him and she's like, let's fight, and then he gets the security guys to attack her. And that was a shot I liked, is he's walking away and then the security guards are engaging her and she's kicking their asses.
Yeah.
But you're like, even with the 4 guys, you know that he's going to get away and she's not going to be able to defeat those 4 guys. Nice scene.
Yeah.
Really nice scene.
Yeah. Sure. Great job. You got one, guys. Good one.
And I liked him. Tom Holland jumps out and is on this big lighting piece of art and then things break.
I mean, it was cool. I didn't totally understand how it kept getting lower and lower until he was basically on the ground. I don't know what the art piece is.
He kept grabbing different ones, I think. So.
Sure, but it wasn't touching the ground originally, Dan. So I don't know why it changed. That's all I'm saying.
He falls down, and a number of times he falls down and hits himself and is never affected by that.
No, he's fine. Yeah, don't worry about it.
We all remember Die Hard, where he slowly gets more and more beat up, and then there's more cuts, and he's like, Bruce Willis crawls.
It's funny that you actually mentioned that, because one of the things that happens in the video games a bunch is he gets the shit kicked out of him. Like, he's always getting beat up and bruised, and he's always like, all right, I got to keep going, because that's what you want. You want a guy that's, down and out and then succeeds.
You could do that to Bruce Willis's face. You're not allowed to do that to Tom Holland's face.
It's a pretty face. I'm not going to argue that it's not pretty. It's just, a boy. It's a pretty boy. Well, that sounds weird.
So they escape and they have the cross. So they fly to Barcelona. And they're looking for a tree. And then we meet Chloe. She has the other cross. So we meet Chloe. Okay, so for some unknowable reason, Tom Holland is carrying the cross in his backpack.
Yeah, well, super secure and safe, and so it makes sense that he's carrying it.
Okay, he's carrying the cross, and then this woman walks up and talks to them, and then she leaves, and somehow she's stolen this cross from this backpack.
Did she ever, and I don't believe, did she ever get closer than like 4 feet away from him?
Not a chance.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't go back and rewatch it, but there's no point at which she could have reached her hand to even touch the backpack.
Which is so weird, because they did make the point, like when Tom Holland steals the bracelet, they at least show you like, oh, he's leaning in and he takes it.
Oh, he totally stole that bracelet.
There has to be some sort of like a moment of connection or something, but no, she's so good that she can just teleport it. That's her superpower.
And you're like, the whole idea of these things is it's a shell game. You have to have the thing going on. The magician has to be working their magic, and you have to see the magician like do the thing, and you're like, did something just happen? Wait,
and that's what you need. You need the moment of being like, did she? And then she did.
And when he stole that bracelet, and then when what's-his-name took the bracelet out of his pocket, we had both of those moments, and it was nice. They were handled very nicely. You understood exactly what happened without showing us. Correct. We just saw the bracelet gone, and then we also saw him go close to his pocket, and we're like, he stole that bracelet.
Yeah,
he stole that bracelet.
He did it, you idiot. Yeah.
And that's character building. She steals this cross from a backpack that she has no access to, and then runs away, and you're like, what the fudge?
Yeah, I was just like that. I said, what the fudge?
We have a chase, and then everybody's like, we need each other.
We have a boring chase. I just want to say that. Like, this is not... I don't think this constitutes as an action scene. I just want to throw that out there and let everybody know.
I watched that James Bond movie where he goes to like Carnival, the new guy, and then he goes over this thing, and then he is gonna shoot a guy, and then the buildings all fall down and stuff.
Yep.
Just you just your breath is like, oh my god, my breath is taken away. This action is so exciting.
That's because the guy that made that movie didn't make Venom. So you know that he can make a movie.
So Antonio fights with his granddad and then his dad. I don't know if it fights with two different guys in two different scenes, but he fights with two guys.
Yeah.
And then Antonio kills his dad because his dad is going to give away the fortune. Kills his dad.
Yeah, he kills his dad.
The richest man on the planet.
Well, now he's the richest man on the planet.
Hold on a second.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, Tony. Bill Gates just disappears. What happens?
We all just move on.
Is that what happens?
We let his we let his money trickle down to his next heir. We're just like, yeah, something happened. Who knows? Let's keep going.
We just give his money to his kids. We just open the will and we're just like, well, Bill Gates is gone. Who cares?
There's no chance that someone who was inheriting the money did it. That's for sure. Not a chance.
I don't understand. This is insane. This makes no sense. I mean, and more importantly, why? Does that motivate? Does that motivate Antonio Banderas' character?
Yeah. For sure. If it helps, Dan, this makes more sense than what happens later to Antonio Banderas. Does that help?
It's like we've used these two scenes to talk about a thing that doesn't mean anything. We're giving away the money, but Antonio's character would still have money. Of course he'd still have money. He's
for sure.
Really there. And more importantly, he's already paid the money into setting up the operation to do all this stuff. It's it's not like, oh God, it's so stupid. Kills his dad. And then we're at a church, and then they go into this church, really old church. And then they're trying to find the keyhole. We're beginning of the keyhole. Now we have like 3 keyhole scenes in a row where we're looking for keyholes.
Yeah, a lot of keyholes.
They're like, this one nun sort of looks at them. Okay, this is a church filled with gold and all sorts of stuff. Nobody watches these very sketchy people with backpacks.
Oh yeah.
First of all,
no, for sure.
You say you gotta leave the backpack outside. You gotta leave the backpack in the foyer. You gotta carry on that backpack.
Don't put stuff in your backpack. Please don't put stuff in your backpack. That's what I would say.
Moving pews and like cutting locks, and they pull out an acetylene torch and start, pickaxes to the wall.
And the nun never comes back. And here's my biggest problem with it, Dan, is they continually talk about the nun. Like, she's gone, but they keep reminding me that she should be coming back and being like, hey, what the fuck is going on right now? You're making a ton of noise and moving stuff in my church. But she doesn't. But then they keep being like, what if the nun comes back? Wah, wah, wah. Fuck you.
I want to see Sully, the nun comes back and Sully, guts her like a pig.
Okay.
Breaks her neck.
Dan, whoa, Dan. Whoa. I'm okay with the second one. It's clean. It's fast. It's easy. So we forgot to mention the one part when they travel from the America to wherever they are now. Where are they? Rome? No. Barcelona. They do the Indiana Jones plane thing, Dan.
I like that.
I don't like it because it looks worse now than it did when they did it in Indiana Jones. They've added a weird 3D element to it and made it more cartoony. And I was like, this looks dumb. This is like a poor imitation.
It's like Monopoly.
Monopoly. And then one more Indiana Jones thing right now is he does the nuns. Why does it have to be nuns or whatever the fuck? I mean, he does snakes. You can't just steal the line from the movie.
I was watching a thing where they're doing all the Easter eggs, and they were like, "This is taken from Indiana Jones. Isn't that clever?" I'm like, "No."
No, not only is it not clever, but we know, guys, snakes is one of the most popular quotes from that fucking movie. You got to do something more subtle, guys, because all you're doing is reminding me that I could be watching a much better movie. That's all you're doing.
So the two characters go downstairs, and then one's supposed to go down and one's supposed to go up. He doesn't go up. He just stays at ground level.
Yeah, he doesn't go up at all. He just stays where he is.
It should have been one shall descend and the other shall stay at street level.
Stay exactly where
follow
you
along
are.
at street level. Follow along at street level. That should have been in Latin, though. In Latin.
But of course, yeah. So it sounds better that way.
Okay, so they go downstairs, and then there's another lock. How does Tom Holland pick that lock?
Did he pick it? I thought he just kicked the door in.
He did that at one point, but there's this lock.
Okay, this is a different door? I don't know, Dan.
He sticks a big knife in it.
Oh yeah, like you would, because that's how lock picks work. It's not like you have to carefully maneuver little levers. It's just you just jam it. Just jam it in there.
Big knife. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, so then they go through all this thing.
You're getting almost as mad as I am, and you said that you didn't mind this movie. I think that you were wrong.
When I read this, see, that's the thing. This movie kind of lulls you into not being angry about it.
Well, you're right about that.
You're just sort of sitting there and you're like, pretty girl.
It just kind of washes over you at some point.
Yeah. And then you get to a thing and you're like, why is this happening?
Wait, what the fuck? Yeah.
So they get to the club, and then he starts to bartend again, because that week that he spent training with that bartender guy, they didn't want that to go to waste. They want to use it in 2 different scenes.
Well, I wish it would have gone to waste, because it did. It did effectively go to waste because he's not good at it. All right. Also, it doesn't really serve this scene at all, because it doesn't help them escape. It's like, oh, here's a moment for a joke. I don't know.
So they finally turn the key in the hole. They find the hole. They jump through the hole, and as soon as they go through the hole, it goes like this. Whack!
Yeah, as if there's a motion sensor on it. Nope. I don't think so, guys. That's not how those things work. How would it know to do it after 2 people? You know what I mean? Like, if it did it immediately after her, maybe there's like a pressure sensor on the other side that a body is now it closes. But it took 2 people to do it? Then I can't scientifically explain that.
So they climb through, and then Marky Mark's upstairs, and then he goes into Papa John's, and then he finds the hole, but it's behind plexiglass, and he starts trying to break the plexiglass.
How much did Papa John's pay this movie, you think? Like a ton?
I liked it, but it didn't bother me. I thought it was kind of funny.
It made me laugh when he goes, "I'm in the world's oldest Papa John's." It was a funny line, but the whole time I was like, why is there just like a hole in the wall behind a window?
Oh,
I'm so confused.
Actually, I really like. That's like one of the few things in the movies I really liked.
Oh, because great. I don't travel, Dan, so I've never been outside the country. Explain things to me.
What you would do is you'd have this old building that was built in Roman times, and it would have like these beautiful mosaics, but they needed money, so they put the Papa John's in, but they're like, oh, beautiful mosaics, and then they would put plexiglass over it so that
you don't ruin it.
Yeah, they would absolutely do that, and that is totally a real thing they would do.
Okay,
so
all right.
I wasn't bothered by that. Okay, so there's a fountain. So, wait, does he do the fountain then? No. Oh, no, the keyhole's inside the thing, even though the fountain's out there.
Yeah, because you need 2 keys like this.
The keyhole should have been in the fountain.
Yeah, that's a given. That's a given.
So they do it. He does the keys. Joe shows up and they fight, and then he takes her gun and shoots the thing.
Yeah.
Where does she go?
He throws her through it, and then she kind of passes out, I think.
Oh, so
she's concussed.
Yeah, so he should have taken his gun to her head and shot her in the head.
You really want that violence from the video games. I love it. Good for you.
They're breaking necks. They're killing everyone.
What's funny, and I love the video.
Because Tony, they want gold.
They all want gold, baby. That's it. It's all you need in life is gold. What do you do with gold, by the way? Like, you got to sell it at the black market? How do you turn gold into cash in my pocket?
Imagine this was gold. Gold.
What the hell is that, Dan?
Gold.
Okay, yeah, you got your gold. You're loving the gold.
That's Mothra as in his larval form.
Oh my god.
But it could be gold, sweet gold.
And then what would you do with it other than cuddle it at night?
That's it.
That's it? What do you do with gold? This is a real question. I don't know. I don't understand.
Gold, very easy to convert to money.
Oh, it is? Okay.
And that's why gold is the greatest thing ever, because it's instantly convertible. You can have any amount of gold and you'll be able to convert it because it's untraceable.
But who do you give it to?
You just take it to a gold place.
They're a gold place. See, this is all. I have no idea what you're saying. What do you mean a gold place? Like
You
a
gotta-
store that's like gold for money?
Yeah, you have your gold guy.
I wish I had a gold guy. I wish I
No.
had gold.
I have my one of my friends who's an antique dealer. He'll find gold out there, rings and whatever, and then he
Okay.
has his gold guy. Gives it his gold guy. The gold guy melts it down, and figures out how much it is, and then gives him the money for it.
Okay, but what does he do with the gold?
He moves it to other. Then you.
This is
Then
a
you
whole
give
world
it-
that I don't understand.
Yeah, well, gold gets turned into jewelry and whatnot like that. So you sell it to jewelers and whatnot.
But isn't this like? Wouldn't this be like a national treasure? Hilarious. But like, it's like a historic.
It's gold.
I don't know. You're just gonna
Gold-
melt down their gold?
What is gold, Tony?
It's a metal.
Yeah, it's a metal, but more importantly, it's an element. Do you know what an element is?
Sure.
Do you know what an element is?
AU. Wait, is that
AU.
silver?
That is gold. AU. Good
Oh
one,
God,
Tony.
yes, I nailed it.
And what is an element?
It's a letter on a periodic table.
Exactly, but
science.
it's these are the primary forms of materials. So if I have
Sure.
a piece of gold and I put it in a
Smelter.
a smelter, yes, I smelt it. You're just left with gold, right? So
Sure.
if I have like the crown jewels of England,
Then you put it on display in a museum, you animal.
Basically, if I steal that, I can just melt down the gold parts and sell the gold.
But that would be so rude. It's so disrespectful to history.
But that's the whole thing about this movie is they don't care about history. All they care about is gold.
But they should care about history. Indiana Jones cares about history. Nicolas Cage, why can't I remember his name from National Treasure? That's a bummer. Cares about history. They all care about history. These guys, they care about gold. I don't like it.
It's kind of stupid. So they get into the secret chamber and Sully's like looking through the grate. He's like, "What do you see?" Actually, more importantly, he drops his cross down in there to them.
Yeah. Well,
He would
after
have
a lot
never-
of talking about crosses and then euphemism of double crosses, I couldn't handle it.
He
I got so sick of
literally
that.
gives them the cross for no reason. What was the reason?
Well, they need the tree or a ladder. It needs to make a ladder, so it's like the keys have to be together.
Yeah, no, I understand that they have to put the two keys together to unlock the next lock. I understand that, but why would he give it up? Why wouldn't he just
Well,
find a way
he
down
should
there?
just come down. Well, and he does. That's what's funny is that he comes down later to rescue Nathan Drake.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Ridiculous. So they open it up. They find these three big amphoras, which they call vases or something stupid. They're amphora. Doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
And then they crack them open. Inside is salt, and inside the salt is a map. And the one girl steals the map and then leaves.
So I don't get it, Dan.
Did she take the two crosses with her? I assume she did.
Yeah, she had to have, right? Because you need them, right? I don't know.
Did they need them again?
Well,
I think they were done with those crosses.
Yeah. Well, he needs them to do the map later, but I don't know.
Oh, he does need those to do the map later. Wait, how does he have them with the map later?
See, I don't know.
Okay.
Well, because at that point they're back together. Him and
Everyone's
he's
there.
with Chloe, and they sleep together, but don't sleep together because it's PG-13, guys.
They slept together? I guess
They're
they
in
did,
the same
didn't they?
bed,
Oh,
right
they
in the
did sleep
hotel,
together. Yeah, they did.
right? I
I
don't know.
I don't even think I wrote that down.
Because it doesn't matter. I don't get the salt barrels. What did you call them? Euphagoles?
Amphora.
Yeah, M4. Great. What's going on? Why are they there, and why is there a map inside of it? I don't get it.
Well, first of all, why are they there? I have no idea. Why would there be salt in amphora? Because amphora is like salt was one of the big things you traded in back in the day. Because it's a spices. Have you ever heard of
spices.
the
Pirate
spice, the spice road or whatever? That was the biggest thing. Is what would happen is in the Middle East, all the caravans they'd be carrying spice out of the Middle East to other places because spice. We have supermarkets, right?
We do. Yeah, I've been there.
Back in the olden days, you'd look out there, you'd be like, pig, wheat. You'd be like, oh, pig and wheat. What's for dinner? Pig and wheat. Oh, what's for dinner tonight?
Bland.
Wheat and pig. Pig and wheat. You get tired of it. And what happens when you put a little salt on pig?
Tastes better.
Salt pork.
Salt pork. Okay, great.
Sounds good, doesn't it? If you're just eating straight pig, when you add a little salt, you got salt pork. Good stuff.
You know what I like is like pork and pickles. That's good.
Pork and pickles. How do you make those
I
pickles?
need salt. Yeah, I need salt. I know.
You
I know.
need salt and you need pickling and you have to do pickling and all. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a whole process that I'm never going to do by myself.
So we do a whole thing about the brother, and he's like, "What about my brother? He got shot and left him to die. You're greedy." Blah 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 blah.
I enjoyed your version of it much better. Just so.
So the girl that was working for them is working for Antonio. She takes him the map. Everybody's working to all the girls are bad with Antonio.
Well, yeah. I mean, hello, it's Antonio Banderas. Yes,
And then
please.
Antonio tells a story of betrayal. My family's gold. He's telling this story. They're on the plane. Our guys are hiding in the trunk of the car at this time.
How did they get there, Dan? This is my least favorite thing in the movie. How did they get in his car, in his plane?
They opened the trunk and they got in the trunk. They hid in the trunk.
When?
For 12
Where?
hours.
There are guard people everywhere.
The same way that Cross got out of that backpack.
Oh, so they just kind of teleported in. Okay, I'm on board. I'm on board.
So then they cut Antonio's throat. One of the girls cuts Antonio's throat.
Are you sure?
I think so.
Are you sure that they cut his throat? Because he's laying there later and he's not bleeding. There is zero blood. There is like a tiny line that they drew on his neck. There is no blood. If your throat gets cut, Dan,
yeah,
you're gonna bleed.
Maybe
you're gonna bleed out.
Not if you have that disease that makes you not bleed.
Okay. All right, I'll trust you.
It's Instaclot.
That's first of all, that doesn't sound like a disease. That sounds like a product that you would sell. Some guy in the supermarket's like, Instaclot, here you can get it. Come
maybe on the blade she has an anticoagulant or a super coagulant.
Cauterizes the wound as she goes.
Maybe it was really hot. It was really hot.
Great. I love it. Yeah, she put it in the fire to sterilize it and cauterize. Good for her.
Cut and cauterize at the same time.
And burned. Wow.
And the whole idea is it cauterized those veins so the veins don't send the blood to the brain anymore.
Sure, yeah, it cuts it right off so you're dead. Wow. That's some good stuff, Joe. Good for you. Jesus.
And then we have the big thing with the boxes.
Yeah, back to... So, yeah, okay, I have a question, Dan.
Okay.
In the beginning of the movie, he's passed out. He's unconscious, flapping in the wind. And then he's like, what? But he's awake when he gets thrown out of the plane. He goes, ah! And then when does he pass out?
He hit his head.
So he's concussed? So he's concussed for the rest of the movie? That's very dangerous.
Yeah. Shouldn't throw him any passes.
Shouldn't throw him.
Okay, so I wrote...
Idiot.
They land on one of the boxes, and he does he catches the box, and he does a really bad job of doing the in-flight, the no parachute flying.
Sure.
I was a little disappointed.
Very hard.
I don't think it's that hard. I think I figured it out pretty quick.
I'm going to throw you out a plane, and we're just going to see what happens.
I've seen those people do it. They come together, and they all hold hands, and then they do all sorts of tricks.
It's all about using your body against the wind to direct your flight, right? Yeah. We would get it. We'd be fine.
I just wanted Tom Holland to have a little learning curve there where it wasn't just like he was like falling to his death and then he was flying right towards the thing and then he just crashed into it. I wanted to see him be effective.
First of all, he hit it really hard.
He hit it so hard.
If you're telling me that he got knocked out when he fell out of the plane, he definitely got knocked out when he smacked onto this wood crate after falling like a mile. Okay? Yeah. He's dead.
Yeah, it was dumb.
So more importantly, Dan, let's talk about the parachute real quick. So they're holding on with their hands onto a cargo net. He pulls a fucking ripcord. You're telling me that they didn't fall off, that they were just like, yeah, I'm going to hang on. The amount of pull that would happen when that parachute catches tears your hands off. I swear to God.
Wouldn't have torn their hands off, would have torn all their fingers off. There'd be all these bloody fingers.
Yeah. Your tiny little ligaments. Oh my God. What a ridiculous thing.
It sure seemed like they should have been on top, have them maneuver it and then get on top of it and then they're ready and then they lay back and they pull it, I mean.
But the hand grip Woo!
They
Unbelievable.
always
Good
try
for
to
them.
they try to make it too much. And it's like sometimes we just want to see them do it the right way that makes sense.
That makes sense? Yeah.
That's actually more exciting when you do something
it's
that
better
makes
because
sense.
you're like, oh shit, that happened. He could do that. Not this. No way.
You know? You write the message on the dead body of the terrorist. Now I have a machine gun, and then you throw it down there. Yeah,
God, so good.
You know,
so good.
Show somebody doing something smart, listening on the walkie-talkie. Listening.
It just makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Ugh,
when we watch a character do something smart or have a little learning curve where they're not just smashing into a box, we like that character more.
Yeah. Yeah, we sure do.
He argues with the girl. He has sex with her, I think, and then he...
See, well, they sleep together. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, they sleep together, and then he leaves a fake message on the thing, and she takes the fake message and is like, ha, ha, ha. And for some reason, he rolled the real message up and stuck it in a bottle.
Put it somewhere else. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. There's no reason for that. What a stupid thing.
Like, just lift up the bed and pull it out. Like roll it in a bottle?
Or, take it out of your pocket. You know, I don't know.
So, okay, hold on. So here we go. So he knows where it is. The bad guys are there. They're at a very specific location that he exactly knows. And what does he do, Tony?
He drives right by them on a speedboat. So stupid.
You're just like, come on, guys. Come on.
It's not even believable that would happen. Like, it's so dumb. I almost lost my mind. I almost lost it. I really did.
So they find the ships from Goonies, but there's two of them. They go on board. And inside the ship from Goonies, they're like, where might the money be? There's all these barrels, and stupid Marky Mark opens one up. He's like, no money in here. And then
you're telling me he's a treasure hunter? That's what, if that was just like some idiot being like, he doesn't get it. You're telling me this guy's a treasure hunter and he doesn't know that that's a false top? No way, Dan. No way.
That was literally the dumb. I mean, there's a lot of really dumb things in this movie.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb.
Pretty dumb.
And let me ask you a question, Dan.
Yeah.
You're on the side of a beautiful cliff, and there's just a giant cave in there. Just a beautiful, perfectly shaped cave. You tell me no one's ever been in that cave before?
No one's ever looked down that
giant ass cave
and seen the gigantic the kind of boats parked there.
People are in it. People have been in that cave a bunch.
I think this is the Lost Island, so there's no...
Oh, okay.
So you can't just get there.
It's the Lost World, Jurassic Park, second island.
So the bad guys find it, and then Tom Holland and Sully are hidden in a hidden space, and they're like, oh, I guess they never found it. And then they lift them up, and then they fly them on helicopters, and they crash into the ocean.
Dan, wait.
And the movie ends.
How do they get the net under the ship to pick it up?
Well, it's not nets. They just put cords. They just put straps.
Are you sure?
Yeah, there's two straps. There's one strap at the front and one strap at the back. It's literally two straps.
That's it?
Which is absurd. And they do this literally in 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's so fast. It's so fast. And
as
then they're just flying.
The truth of the matter is, this is exactly what would happen. They would see that's what's going on, and they would say, okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this helicopter, we're going to lift all that gold out of there and put it on the helicopter and fly away with the gold.
100%.
Then they said,
and then we'll come back for the ship.
In 2 months, we're going to come back. Yeah. We're gonna do a survey. We're going to figure out how to mobilize these ships.
How to get the ship out. Yep.
But no one does anything like that. They think of the most absurd thing in the world, which is to fly it out on these ships, which, I'm sorry, this is jungle. Tony, I'm going to say 2 words to you. Have you ever heard these words? Jungle rot?
I haven't, but I have heard the words jungle cruise. So
there it is.
Pretty
Tony,
good.
What happens when you leave a piece of wood out in the rainforest?
Well, it gets brittle. That's what I understand about it.
It does not get brittle.
What
gets wet and moldy and turns into mush and goes back into the rainforest. If a tree falls in the rainforest, you know what happens? it
That
becomes
depends. Is someone around to hear it?
nobody's around to hear
Yes.
it.
Come on.
Nobody's around to look in that hole. When trees fall, they fall to the ground, and then the fungus comes in there, and the
They get
fungus
all
gets on it.
mossy.
They get all mossy.
I love
And
moss.
and do you really think that these things are going to be solid like a boat is?
I mean, they are, Dan, because they crash into each other and they're pretty much fine. So they're doing good. They're doing real good.
Eventually, they crash both of them, and they both fall into the ocean, and they lose all the money.
Especially because it's basically in. I mean, I know they're not floating in the water, but they are next to the water, so it's damp in that cave. Definitely,
it's so
right?
damp in that cave.
All right.
So damp. That would not hold up. The wood ships that survived, the only ships that survived from that kind of time period are ones that, like, sometimes I think the ones in the ocean, because it's so goddamn cold down there. There's some really specific things that happen in the ocean.
Science.
And I remember watching a thing about it, and there was very specific things that happen that let shipwrecks exist under the ocean. And retrieving those shipwrecks is not like you don't just put two cables under them and pull them up, because they would go.
Yeah, you just pick them up. I wouldn't worry about it. You just pick them up.
And they found this Viking ship that was buried somewhere and pulled it out of the ground. And it took years, I believe, to stabilize the wood to pull it out of the ground. You can't. And so, and in addition to everything, they're just like flying these around and like running them into stuff. And you're just like,
a ton of stuff. Like they're hitting cliffs. They're running them into each other. It's crazy.
It's just bad archaeology. And Indiana Jones cared about the archaeology.
That's what I'm saying. He cared about it. He cared about the history. He would deliver that ship to, the proper authorities. I don't know what he would do.
Stupid. And then they save each other, and then they're friends, and then the other.
Hold on, can we talk about him shooting the cannon? I mean, there's some good stuff that we need to talk about. So apparently, the bad guy's maneuver is just to ram the ship straight on in, and he sees the cannon and he never changes course. And there's a good 5 minutes where he's just coming right at the guy, and he's like, "Oh, I'm lighting a cannon. Hold on, don't move. I'm lighting a cannon. Wait for it." Why? What?
Do you really think that gunpowder would be stable after all these years? Seems like
I do not, because I've seen Lost, and that shit just explodes. Just explodes.
So there's a bunch of things that happen. I wasn't paying any attention. I didn't care.
I mean, it's all ridiculous. It's all stupid. In the end, all you need to know is that Sully gives up his gold. He throws it at Joe to save Tom Holland. That's it.
But Tom Holland had stashed gold in his pants or something?
Just like a couple of pieces. I don't know how much gold is worth, but Marky Mark is very excited about it. So maybe it's worth a lot.
He pulls out a fair amount of gold. They have these 2 gold crosses that have gigantic gems on them. They never treat those like they're worth anything.
That is correct. And then we get the post-credit scene.
I watched.
Did you watch that?
It was really stupid.
Well, the only good thing is that Marky Mark finally has the mustache.
He has a mustache. I watched this whole thing, and these guys on YouTube were like, did 20 minutes about how, like, that's what's his name, that's Gage's main guy, and then they're gonna do a thing, and then he's wearing the right t-shirt, and then he's wearing the correct pants, and then the iconic. Okay, so I was watching this other one, and they were like, what's Tom Holland's character's name?
Nathan Drake.
They're like, oh, the greatest thing about the movie is that Nathan Drake got to use his classic catchphrase.
What's his classic catchphrase?
Come on, Tony. You played all these games. His classic catchphrase.
Doesn't he just say, "Oh crap"?
Oh crap. That's his classic catchphrase. Oh crap.
They consider that a catchphrase? That's not a catchphrase, guys. That's not what a catchphrase is.
It's literally the dumbest thing ever. He says crap a lot. Oh crap.
But he doesn't. Doesn't he say shit through the whole movie?
No, he says. I mean, I assume he says crap. I wasn't paying attention, but these guys.
I don't know. I feel like they say shit a bunch instead of crap. But whatever. It's dumb.
So Is it a painful movie? Could you just have it on and like eat some popcorn and watch it? You could. If you
No,
want to,
that's what I did. I ate popcorn and Bunch of Crunch, and I was still upset. So no.
do you pour your Bunch of Crunch in your popcorn?
No, but I do pour it into cheese Doritos, nacho cheese Doritos. That's good.
Bunch of Crunch and Doritos.
Shut up, Dan. You said something stupid first.
I didn't even say that was bad. I was just, it's different. Cheese, it's different. I'm not saying it's bad.
I don't know. I like it. I like my nacho cheese Doritos with little chocolate on the side. It's good.
It's good. You do this always?
Not always, but a fair amount. Yeah. Also work M&Ms work as well. Just plain, not peanut. You don't want that nonsense. But plain M&Ms work as well. Very good. Very good stuff, guys. Try it. Nacho cheese Doritos, pour little M&Ms in there, you're good to go.
Anything else? Oh, they also had a special scene where we see his brother in jail, like we could get his stupid brother out later.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. I don't
Interesting.
care at all.
Do you think they're going to make another one of these?
I do. I really do, because I think it did okay.
Did real good.
So, yeah. I think they're going to make another one.
That'd
Maybe they'll recast an adult.
And maybe they'll hire us to doctor that script.
And maybe they'll hire someone that can direct action sequences. That would be cool, too.
All things you could do. Now is the part of the show where we talk about something we liked this week. We watched the Candy miniseries on Hulu. Jessica Biel plays murderess based on real life stuff. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. We enjoyed it. Jessica Biel, I love her.
She's great. She's fantastic.
And JT comes in there at the end for the last couple episodes in an uncredited special role.
Okay.
So if you're a Timber fan, you can look for him.
I am. Hello.
But pretty intense, pretty crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it gonna depress me?
It's pretty intense, pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's gonna. Yeah. Got it.
What do you got for us, Tony?
Well, this will be two-part because the first one is I didn't like it, but then the second one I liked. So we finished Ozark because the second part of season 4 dropped, and I'm just really disappointed.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's not because it's bad, it's not because it's not. Yeah, nothing changes.
Same notes.
Yeah, and it's just like through the whole show. And this is on me. It's my fault. You know what I mean? Like, I kept waiting for Bateman's character to grow. Because there's like little hints every once in a while that's like, oh, I think he's going to become a human. And he doesn't. And I was depressed. Like, I was genuinely sad. I was just like, this is just humanity, man. I don't like it.
Is it done, or is there going to try and do 5? Maybe
it
5.
Is done. It is.
Oh.
That's it. We're done with the series. That wraps it up. And
wow.
Woof,
Oh,
I mean, it is what it always was, and that's so. Like they did It's not. Yeah, I don't know. Just depressed me. Just really took me down a notch. But what saved my night is actually a new comic book that came out, Dan, and it's called Jurassic League, which is the Justice League, but they're anthropomorphic dinosaurs, and it's fucking awesome. It's so great. And I need them to make like a 90s style cartoon, and I need action figures of it. I need a bunch of stuff. It's beautiful. It's brilliant. It's very fun.
One shot or a series?
It's going to be, as of now, it's going to be a 6-issue miniseries.
So,
but I
Tony,
hope that they do more.
There's something I want to talk to you about. Something.
This sounds serious, Dan.
Yeah, this is very serious. It's called. Nintendo Special Bowling. What is this?
Oh, you saw my tweet, huh? Okay, so Nintendo Switch Sports came out a few weeks ago, which is basically Wii Sports kind of repackaged for the Nintendo Switch. Everybody knows bowling is the best sport that they do. That's what everyone played. They played Wii bowling. Nobody played Wii tennis. Nobody gives a shit about any of the other games except for bowling. What they've done is they've added this what's called special bowling, which puts obstacles on the bowling alley, and like, there's hills, and it's like mini golf for bowling. No one fucking likes it. But if you play competitively online, They force you to play that. It's so stupid. It's not even bowling, you guys. Go fuck yourselves. At least let me turn that off. I don't want to play your shitty game. So they take the only thing that they're good at, which is bowling, and they fucking ruin it for you. I'm livid, Dan. I'm so mad. Nintendo just makes the dumbest decisions sometimes. I don't know why. I don't know why you brought that up. Why are you trying to ruin my Saturday? Sunday. What day is today? Jesus.
I'm so happy. Well, why don't you just get good at it?
Yeah, because I don't want to get good at it. It sucks. I don't want to get good at something I don't enjoy. What's the point of that? That's a waste of life.
It's a challenge. It's a challenge.
It's not a challenge. It's not because it's hard. That's not why I don't like it. I don't like it because it's hard. It's just not fun. I don't want to play that. I want to bowl. I want to show people how fucking good I am at bowling. That's what I want to do.
But the bowling is just like one motion. Like with special bowl, you have to like do special stuff.
No. I mean, sure, but it's not bowling. It's not bowling. Put it as a separate mode that nobody will play because nobody fucking likes it, and that's fine.
Have you actually
Don't force me to play your bullshit.
Have you met other people that don't like it?
Oh, I'm on a Reddit chain that is very upset about it, Dan. I'll tell you that. We are upset. And we are like 200 strong right now. So it's going to grow.
Now, do people troll you on there and say that they love it?
Not yet, but when people start finding it, I'm sure they will. Okay. It's pretty small right now, but we're going to grow.
You're going to take to the streets. You're going to piggyback on the Women's March stuff.
That's right. This is a movement, Dan.
Special,
all right?
Special
Mark
bowl.
my words. You're going to hear about this in the news. It's dumb. It's really dumb. So all right. That's all I'm saying.
So what we're going to do for next week is I picked out a movie. I was bouncing around but find a lot of movies, and then I picked up this Post-it note, and it had 3 movies listed on it, and I was like, oh, let's do one of these, because I'd forgotten what the other movie I wanted to do was, because that's how my brain is.
Yeah, it happens.
And the movie we're doing is one of Robin Williams' greatest movies. I remember seeing this. I don't know if I saw the whole movie, but I really disliked it. It's called Bicentennial Man.
I don't even know what this is. 100 years. Is that what bicentennial is? Which one's bicentennial?
Bi. What does bi mean, Tony?
It means 2.
2. And centennial means?
It's a high school where I grew up. So 20 high school.
Means 100.
2 high school. So it's 200.
Right?
Got
200.
it. So it's just the centennial is 100?
Yeah.
Or do they call it the monocentennial? Nope, that's not it. Never heard that before.
What are you talking about? Bicentennial.
Mono is 1, right?
We had the American bicentennial in 1976 because the country was founded in 1776. We had the centennial in 1876. Well, we didn't have it.
I wasn't there. I don't know.
We were all dead back then.
Is that how that works? Are you dead before you're born? That's interesting.
Sort of. So the Bicentennial Man is Robin Williams plays a robot who comes to this family, and then eventually he gets turned into like a more human-looking robot.
So it's like Pinocchio? I'm a real boy.
It's a little like Pinocchio.
Okay.
And then I think he becomes like a humanoid robot, so he doesn't have to wear the makeup the whole time.
Oh, well, thank goodness for that. I'm sure.
And I think he goes through generations of the family. I think the robot exists for 200 years. That's what I'm assuming. That's why he's called Bicentennial Man.
Bicentennial Man, yeah. Okay.
I don't know. But I just remember seeing this movie and just freaking hating it. The robot makeup is so hideous.
Oh, God, I'm excited.
Oh, it's so ugly. It's so ugly. And I just want to watch this movie now to see what it's like. And, people on Amazon, it's got like 4.5 stars, but everything on Amazon has like 4 to 5 stars. It's insane.
Yeah, not my movie. Tell you that.
Not your movie? It's like just 3 ones? What's going on?
Yeah, just one person was like 0 stars, motherfucker.
Oh, poor Tony. So we're doing Bicentennial Man for better or for worse.
Probably for worse.
In honor of Robin Williams, the late Robin Williams.
R.I.P., sir.
Very funny guy, and at times tried to make movies where he was slightly maudlin, and this is one of them.
Okay, let's do this. I'm excited.
So if you like what you see, leave us a comment, a subscribe, or leave a positive thumbs up. All things you can do.
Leave a positive. Just leave a positive. Yeah, thanks, guys.
Because that's how we roll. And anything else to tell the public?
No, don't watch this movie. I changed my mind.
Kids, stay in school. Don't do drugs.
Unless you have a great business opportunity, and then you can drop out if you need to.
Yeah, don't be a dropout. And we'll see you next week.
Bicentennial Man. Goodbye, everybody.
Hey, watch him!